It's been a busy few days in the wrestling landscape. We've had Money in the Bank 2025. Naomi winning the briefcase for the women, Seth for the men. Jey Uso loses the world title on Monday Night Raw to Gunther. But what will happen in the future with that? Plenty of things we're going to discuss on today's video. It's a little bit different to the usual format, but we still want your comments, your suggestions as we go through. We're going to kick things off with the Money in the Bank 2025 review. We're going to actually speculate as well, potentially when we're going to get some cash-ins from those briefcases from Rollins and Naomi. We have got Worlds Collide. Mr. Ghana is probably going to take over about an hour of this stream. WWE versus AAA review coming up for you. We'll then jump into Jey Uso losing the world title, Gunther winning the title, what that could mean going forward in WWE. Yes, it's been confirmed. John Cena versus CM Punk is going to happen, but it wasn't going to happen at Money in the Bank. Instead, it's in Saudi Arabia for Night of Champions, and just why that actually might be a clever move. We're going to dive into that a little bit later on. Who is going to win King and Queen of the Ring 2025? And we've got the Evolution build starting as well with returns for Nikki, Bella, and Bayley this past Monday on Raw. And we've got a name change in WWE. Mairah May is in-house in WWE, but no longer will she be known under that name. We'll be talking about that more later on, but feel free to join with your comments and your questions as well. We'll dive into what we can on this show because, like I say, that's a stacked lineup we are going to go through. NXSteve, welcome to the show. It's great to have you on board. So without further ado, let's do something very special just to show where we're going to start our attention today. Money in the Bank. There we are. We're going to start off our review. So first off, what were your overall thoughts of the show?
Yeah, fairly good show. Entertaining in places. I felt the Dom match was a bit pointless. Just felt like a really TV quality style match. And was it Aerostar he faced? I don't feel like he managed to get in maybe as much. Sorry, Octagon Jr. I don't feel he managed to get in probably half as what he should have done. Let's be honest, the ladders having sponsors on are a joke. The fact that they had Chad Gable of all people in a backstage segment trying to make this seem like this is an okay thing. Didn't appreciate it. I think Lyra and Becky had the best chemistry all night. I think they were solid in ring. Thoroughly enjoyed the ring chemistry. Ending was a bit hit and miss because I'm like, you should have had Becky standing tall. But why have Lyra stand tall? I don't understand. I know that she's the face, but Becky's just won the title. This is where I really think Bayley should have returned because in that way, that's the only person who really should have been standing tall over Becky is Bayley. Men's Money in the Bank ladder match was okay, was good. Loads of decent stuff. Didn't really do anything to sort of change the landscape. I think the women's one was personally my favorite match of the night. I think the women went all out, and I think they did a lot of stuff to raise the bar with ladder match for women, especially like you say, you got the two code reds on the bridge ladders was a fantastic spot. Just loads of good stuff in that one. And then the main event, I mean, look, a bit of a underuse of your world and WWE champion, but look, the Bron Killings return gets a massive pop. The win protects Cody. I would have liked to have had a bit of playoff with that maybe between Cena and Logan this week. I didn't really watch the full Raw, so there might have been, but like I felt there should have been something that sort of transitioned onto Raw that they just didn't do. But overall, thought it was a good show. 6, 7 out of 10, I reckon. It was a very good show.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a solid show. I enjoyed all the matches. To be honest, I thought that was a good starting point. I thought the ladder matches both were very good in their own right. I liked that they had a bit of difference between them as well. Obviously, the women's, I like they kind of went with a Royal Rumble 2018 vibe where we had the established versus the new blood, and it all was kind of against each other at points in the match. Certainly started that way anyway. And it just, I don't know, it was a breath of fresh air really watching that. And I thought Roxanne Perez was an MVP. You mentioned the code red already. Just some of the spots she was doing in the match. I think it was like a moonsault as well to Rhea Ripley that was on the ladder at one point as well was quite good.
There was the
from Vaquer.
There was the well, obviously everyone loves that, but no, there was the one that made me like audibly gasp was when Julia and Perez lifted up Bliss and dropped her on the sideways ladder right onto her stomach, and I was like, oh, I bet that sucks in the morning. But yeah, the Devil's Kiss, man, it's entertaining. I just don't really want it to be what all Stephanie Vaquer is about, and it kind of feels like that's what it is at the minute, and I'm just kind of waiting for them to sort of move away from it.
Yeah, I guess you know where you're coming from with that point of view. But all in all, Naomi was the ultimate win. Obviously, she pushed
Yeah,
off Rhea Ripley and Alexa Bliss towards the end of the match. Do you think that Naomi was the right winner for Money in the Bank this year?
yeah, dude. I mean, look, we said in the preview we wouldn't have minded any of those ladies winning. It just meant in terms of story that Naomi. I think, well, we said loads of times that Naomi's probably going to have a really good year this year, and
Mm.
putting that briefcase on her just means that at some point, do you know what I mean? It's a heel prop that best suits the heel, and of everyone in that ring, Naomi was kind of really the only established one that probably could use that prop. Julia's too new, Perez is too new. There, Stephanie's third match in 48 hours. You kind of automatically have to write her off for winning it just for that factor alone. Rhea doesn't ever need a briefcase, and Alexa Bliss, as much as I'd love to see Bliss done it, Naomi is obviously probably the most sound pick to pick. And not even predictions, we said it and got it right.
Absolutely, indeed. And like you say there, I mean, she has a story that's underlining with Bianca Belair that's going throughout the year. The Jade Cargill situation still hasn't fully closed off. Obviously,
Even
Tiffany
Tiffany.
Stratton's currently your
Yeah.
champion. And she's been flirting around the championship scene anyway since after WrestleMania. So it just feels inevitable that she'll get involved in that scene. Just a question quickly, not when she'll cash in at this particular time, but I'm more interested with Naomi. Will she be a successful cash in your opinion?
I would like to think so. It depends on how the story evolves between now and when she does cash in, because it depends on how they book her. If they book her as whoever the champion is, let's say, for instance, I've talked about it many times before, if Naomi every week is just torturing the champ, is just there every week, sitting ringside, comes out halfway through matches to absolutely pester her, and they book it like at any point she could cash in, then maybe she could lose it. It's all down to booking, really. I personally would like to see her win. Like I said, I think she's going to have a great year this year. The heel persona she's been putting on, she is almost like one of top heels on SmackDown at the minute.
Yeah, I think she's really established herself in that role as well. I'd like to see her succeed with the cash in. Women haven't had a foul cash in yet, which makes me wonder, is this the year? But for me personally, I just think that a found cash in just might harm all the good work they've done with Naomi since the character change.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see her fully succeed. And there's some real benefits with storylines you can get later on, which we'll discuss when they may cash in. But Seth Rollins,
I mean,
oh, sorry, you have
go on. Just to add, it was that since she's come back, she's kind of not really done anything of any significance. Like she was with Jade and Naomi for that 6-women tag match at Mania the first year. Then obviously she before we found out, she was tag team champion with Bianca for the longest time, and this is now like almost like the payoff for where her story's going. So I think she needs to win that title, to be honest. Almost to like, it's a bit like a Cody story. Like she's been on this journey for like nearly 2 years now, and I think it ends with her being champion.
Yeah, I hope so. I really think that it would be a great way of her comeback and how she's been able to reinvent herself and then literally take it to the next level and become champion. I think it'll be a really good thing to see. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, Seth was the winner for the men's. That had a bit of chaos throughout it as well. Obviously, Solo Sikoa might be my MVP of the entire show, just the way he was just stealing everybody's chance.
So funny.
He has found.
Where's that guy been?
Yeah, I know.
Where has that guy been? Jesus.
That guy, if he'd been doing that a year ago when the new Bloodline storyline really kicked in, that main event push would have continued.
Yeah, 100%. He was so entertaining all night. Just the mocking and everything. Like, honestly, he was just fantastic character work all night. And I'm sitting thinking to myself, the same thing. If you'd been doing this a year ago, you'd have been in main event scene by now.
Do you think, I'm going to ask a question here, like that is going to be seen as so entertaining for people that if he continues that up for a period of say 3 to 6, even 12 months, that eventually he may end up having to go back to being, well, he's never really been a babyface, but has to go to a babyface because fans might actually get behind that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't see why not. I mean, it's just like general sarcasm, and like everyone gets sarcasm every day. You're either doing it or on the receiving end of it, so we all get it. And to have someone like, who is genuinely sarcastic nowadays? I mean, LA Knight, maybe when he cuts a promo, is slightly sarcastic, but no one like Solo is just generally mocking people, like doing the Penta walk, and do you know what I mean? Just generally taunting other people. It's just so entertaining to watch. It's like it ultimately would lead to his babyface run 100%. I'd love to see it, man. It's just look, it's a case of whether they do it or not. It's always the same thing. Whenever we look at future booking, it's always down to WWE and booking it, and that's what you got to hope for.
Absolutely. Well, one thing they did book for is Jacob Fatu's babyface turn, being the ultimate reason that Solo didn't win Money in the Bank. And finally, with the "I hate you, Solo," more just "I hate you." I don't think he threw the solo at the end, but big things in the future for Jacob Fatu. Then babyface run. I imagine the match with Solo could be happening. Maybe Night of Champions. Could it perhaps be saved to SummerSlam?
Yeah, it's going to happen at some point. I would have preferred Solo to maybe have won the briefcase and then almost teased using it on Jacob, maybe as a stick or as a reason for it. I just felt kind of, I don't know, almost wasted the fact that you did it in the middle of the Money in the Bank ladder match. And it's kind of like, okay, sure, they've been teasing it for ages, but I think that like you've taken the focus away from it because ultimately the turn happens. 10 minutes later, everyone's more concerned about Seth Rollins winning the Money in the Bank briefcase. And it's kind of it's, you know what I mean? It's in the background of what happened during that match. And I really was hoping for something bigger with that.
I can understand your point of view. I think it's the perfect time to do it because I think Jacob knows deep down you were going to cash in on me. It was always you were jealous of me. So I've now stopped you because I've been behind you the whole time, but I was the breakout. You were holding me back. And I think a lot of fans will say he's being held back behind Solo and that sort of run. So I think that it's going to be exciting to see what leads. And I'm actually interested in the Jacob Fatu Solo future. I wouldn't have said I would have been, perhaps say 6 months ago.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah. And maybe you are right. Like, it'll all work out in the end. They're just, like I said, I think it was just a bit of it was just almost thrown away. But I know what you mean. Like I said, a decent bit of creative can turn it round.
It certainly can indeed. And obviously, talk about decent bit of creative. We did have a bit of shenanigans in the match. We had both of the New Bloodline. We also had Seth's group involved in there as well at some points to make a sort of heel faction versus heel faction. But ultimately, it led to Seth winning the briefcase. LA Knight was one of the people sort of attacked as well by Seth's goons as well, costing him the opportunity. Was Seth the right winner? It felt like it was the right person, but he's not really gone to do much since that. I perhaps thought he might have done. I thought he would have tried to tease to cash it in on Raw, perhaps in that main event of Money in the Bank, but he didn't do so.
I mean, ultimately, he probably was the right person to do it because at least with Seth, I think with Seth, there is more a chance of a failed cash-in than I think if you'd have put it on LA Knight, for example, because obviously Seth has probably the most infamous cash-in pro wrestling, obviously doing it in the main event of WrestleMania, that I think like there is possibilities there that, like I said, if Seth does try to cash in, he could fail the cash-in. And I'm more open to it being on Seth because, look, honestly, if LA Knight wins it, I want LA Knight to win the world title. And I don't like, I find, look, if you're looking at it from like sort of percentage wise, Seth winning or failing the cash in is 50-50. With Knight, depending on who's champion, I think his chances of failing the cash in are higher than what Seth's are. So I wouldn't really want that for him. And I know I've seen a lot of people like criticizing about, look, Triple H doesn't like LA Knight, and we've been here. We said in the previews 3 years now, we've been saying Knight should win this Money in the Bank briefcase. I sat down and thought about it logically, and it's like, well, you want LA Knight to win that Money in the Bank briefcase, but what does Triple H want to do? He wants to surprise you. And I was having this conversation with someone on TikTok, and I said, look, if LA Knight wins the Money in the Bank briefcase and cashes in, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, okay, I really enjoyed that, la la la. But if, for instance, LA Knight was to win Elimination Chamber, a la Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble, like just something completely not expecting to happen, what gets the bigger excitement? Him winning the briefcase, which a lot of people wanted anyway, or him, for example, winning Chamber, where he, like, obviously, like most people probably think he didn't have a chance at all. And I think that's how Triple H is kind of looking at creative now. It's like, I'm not going to give you the obvious, but I'm going to give you something that may be a bit better in terms of excitement levels and, do you know what I mean? Just more enjoyable. Like I said, remember when Jey won the Rumble? everyone was like just absolutely off their minds. Like, I can't believe Jey's won the Rumble. You can do that with anyone. I just don't think people want it to be like that. Like, they want the obvious sometimes, and I'm kind of like, well, you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. And it's like, you can't have it you can't. Do you know what I mean? You can't have it your way every time. You've got to have something different.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't always have it your way. And the thing is with LA Knight, he obviously has failed 3 times, but I mean, Naomi won on her 5th attempt, Money in the Bank, so it's not over.
Yeah,
There's always an opportunity, but fans have to remain invested. I think that's the key with everything. Naomi had to reinvent herself to get to that position again. I don't think Knight necessarily has to do so, but I think maybe it just needs to be the right time for him. There needs to be that right creative, and it just doesn't seem to be there for him at this moment. But fingers crossed.
But that's what I mean. So I'm just saying, I just think Money in the Bank is too obvious for LA Knight now. I'd want him to win it some other way now. Like a Jey, like I said, a Jey winning the Rumble. If LA Knight won the Rumble, how crazy would the world go? Do you know what I mean? How mad would the IWC go? Because people want him to be champion, but they want him to do it the way that everyone thinks he's going to do it, by cashing in a Money in the Bank contract. No. Let's do it a different way. Let's do something no one's ever seen before.
Maybe a King of the Ring could be quite fun for LA Knight.
Exactly. Good shout.
He would actually have a fantastic end of King of the Ring speech. He's good on the mic.
I would. Yeah, it'd be very Austin-esque. It would be fantastic.
Love to see it. Just whipped your ass. Anyway, going back to the rest of the Money in the Bank, then obviously, do you think Seth will be successful? You said 50-50. I'm going to say that I think he will succeed.
It depends on how, like I said, because we were saying before in the previews that if Seth wins, you could essentially do a story now where Sammy and Punk spend the rest of the year making sure Seth doesn't cash in that briefcase. And it can lead to either, like I said, he either is successful or he's not. But you've kind of got an intertwined story, which I'm just fantasy booking here. This is getting to my Sammy. This is getting to my Seth Rollins CM Punk main event night 2 WrestleMania match if they do it that way. And I think that's possibly the way they could go. And look, man, I could see it going either way. And I think people are more expecting him to be successful, but I honestly think it's 50-50 with Seth because he has the most, like I said, most famous cash in. What's not to stop him from having the most famous failed cash in?
That would be really fun. A unique twist as well. Could be Money in the Bank, the good and the bad, when remembered for both. Would be really cool to see. You mentioned some of the other matches, so I'll just quickly give my take on those as well. Like you mentioned about Octagon Jr. against Dominic Mysterio. I think the entrance for Dominic was the most impressive part, really. I thought he looked badass coming down to the ring in the mask. Thought the match was fine, but it just established. It was, again, a nice little reminder, AAA. Obviously, they had the show. People go and check out on YouTube. It's good for that promotion point of view. It's just nice that he got Octagon got the spot on the card, but I don't think it's something we're going to remember in 6 months to come at this particular time. Becky was the right result, beating Lyra. I liked the way that they presented the heel character afterwards of just trying to gloat and milk everything for what it was worth with the match there until Lyra actually snapped and gave the German suplex and the night win to Becky afterwards. I thought that was good to help both characters of Lyra and Becky moving forward. Again, great chemistry with those two in ring. The finish is a bit meh, but I think it just suits because Becky can't get the job done. It's another cheap finish. It's an excuse for another match at some point further down the line.
Yeah, I mean, I said the same thing. Reversing a roll up with a fistful of tights is kind of that's the only thing they've kind of failed with in their last 2 matches is the end of the match. Otherwise, the chemistry has been fantastic. And like I said, I watched it. It didn't get the highest score in this match, but I just think generally in ring, those two were fluid. They were like water. It was perfect. You could not have had a better chemistry all night than what these two had. It just, you need that. Like I said, you're right. They're probably going to do this a 3rd time. Bayley might even be involved, which may help even raise the level a bit more, and we get an even better finish because they do love a trifecta of matches. So, hopefully, somewhere down the line, we'll get an even better one with an even better finish.
Absolutely, indeed. We'll talk about Evolution 2 in a bit on this stream, and also then the main event. I personally thought the first half of it was a bit dull, if I'm going to be honest. I thought this livened up as we got to the latter parts of the match, and I thought, to be honest, the shining light, people are not going to like me say this, but I thought the shining light was Logan Paul. Obviously having his drone when he was actually involved with the superplex off the top rope, but he did sort of fumble his shot of the buckshot lariat, but before anyone can really laugh, he a beautiful aside moonsault to the floor through the table.
I think the failure of the buckshot actually helps him. It actually pays off better when Jey super kicks him because it almost like he stumbles, tries to recover, and Jey has time to super kick. I think it actually worked out better that he did mess it up.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that note as well. Then obviously, it looked like John Cena was going to get the better of Cody because Cody wants all this revenge. He's not going to put up with this stuff another time. But yet, when they finally get in the ring, headlock. This isn't really personal. It doesn't feel Cody really wants that title back yet. And I think it's kind of seen now. We've seen things move forward. But Cody has pinned the champion thanks to a returning R-Truth, aka Ron Killings. This was a really nice little surprise. I did not think it was a work because I think that's the suggestion going around the wrestling sort of world, but I don't think it's that sort of way at all. And yeah, I mean, it's great to have him back. I think that the fans have been listened to on this occasion.
Yeah, his promo on Raw was a bit weird, though. The cutting of the dreadlocks, and I'm hoping for some sort of better explanation than that. I don't know. Hopefully, it will pay off. And yeah, like I said, it's like they say that they don't listen to the fans, and obviously they do. But then, to be fair, there was a lot of people that were against R-Truth being released from or having his contract expire. So at least they listened. They brought him back. The only thing I will say on Ron Killings is they need to work on the merchandise better because one of his T-shirts has Killings Spree. Let's not do that. Let's not do that.
Yeah. No,
so yeah, let's work on better merchandise for Ron Killings.
Absolutely. Obviously, then the truth has set him free. A more serious side, like you said there, he's had the barbershop kick in there where he's cut all the hair off just to show that it's a new side of him moving forward. And I think it's going to establish him when he does go on to the independent scene, whenever that is going to be, that the Ron Killings name can be used. That's what the dirt sheets are suggesting as part of this agreement here, so that he can establish his name outside of WWE when he goes there. Do you think he gets much success? Does he get a singles title? Does he get a moment? Does he face John Cena one more time? Cena obviously made reference to him on Raw being, this guy is a clown and a loser. Don't waste his time with people like this. But hey, this is what people want right now.
I mean, ultimately, if he's going to have another match, I wouldn't want it for the title just so we could see Ron get a win over Cena. I think that's kind of ultimately his story is that this guy was his last match under WWE. He's now back as a new persona, a new character. Getting a win back over him wouldn't hurt him. You could do a screwy finish. Screwy finish doesn't hurt Cena. He gets a massive win. The problem is obviously that he is I presume he is a free agent that is almost just like working dates. And I don't think they want him getting a win over their WWE champion. So I find it very unlikely. But again, I would like to see another match with Cena.
I would like to see another match with Cena, especially as they've kind of built that through the end of the show. But I'd like to see Killings get a moment, whether it's, probably not the IC title, but I know something would be quite fun. A magic moment just to have a nice, beautiful send off would be quite cool. But certainly it's interesting to say the very least that he's made a return in this way, so sudden as well after that release. And obviously just we've got more questions than answers right now, and it's going to be fun to see when we do learn it on this future weeks on the nights. Quick question, going back to Money in the Bank then. What would be your final score of the show out of 10?
I'd say 7 out of 10. I enjoyed the show. Aside from the Dom match, I enjoyed the rest of it.
7 out of 10 for me as well. I think it was it delivered for me. It wasn't anything spectacular, but there was nothing bad on the show. It was good. It was
no real surprises.
No, everything you kind of expected, I think, on the show, apart from Ron Killings making an appearance there. But all in all, I thought it was pretty good. Looking just to quickly run through match of the night.
I gave it to the women's Money in the Bank match. I thought it was the best match. I think it was the only one that kind of excelled the bar at whatever match it was supposed to be. Like they raised it indefinitely for me. Like I said, the moves that they were doing, the bridge ladders and the double code reds. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was a really good match. I have gone with the men's Money in the Bank, though, just because of some of the character work in there, obviously, and along with perhaps the factions getting involved and stuff like that. Even though it felt kind of a predictable winner in the end, the women's was more unpredictable in that way. But at the same time, I just found myself quite invested in what was going on in the men's just that little bit more. IMG moment of the night, would it be the Coda Reds?
No, obviously it should be Ron Killings returning, but I've gone for that Julia and Perez moment where they drop Bliss on the ladder. Like, audibly was like, oh my God, that's going to suck in the morning because they drop her from like 4 foot flat on her stomach. That's going to hurt.
Absolutely. Entrance of the night.
LA Knight, hometown hero.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I would go with Dom. I liked his entrance with Liv, to be honest. There, match OMG moment of the night. I will say the Ron Killings one, by the way. Didn't give my answer there.
Actually, there is an honourable answer for OMG moment of the night. It's Andrade getting a ladder dropped on his testicles.
God, I love it.
That's definitely yeah.
MVP of the night.
I give it to Stephanie McCall. 3 matches in 2 days. I thought deserved it.
Yeah, that's a really good shout. I find it hard to argue with that, but I will say Solo Sikoa just because I thought he was.
Oh
awesome.
yeah, that's the other good answer. Yeah,
I'll go with Solo.
Definitely.
Well, let's go into a couple of comments and just say hello to a couple of people. We've got Eric in the house who's with us. We've got Noob in the house as well who's with us, and Tom Talks Rubbish as well. Hope you're all doing well. Thank you all for joining us. Jonesy's with us also. He quite enjoyed the R-Truth moment, genuinely unexpected moment, and a great pop. He goes on with a couple of questions as well. He says, should WWE change entrance themes for Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch now that they're heels?
I mean, I wouldn't mind a change for Becky just because she's had the same one for so long. Seth's is fine. I'm sure he'll change it another 4 times before he even retires from wrestling.
Seth is the one I think needs to change more. Just because I think with Becky, the man is a heel gimmick, but yet it just got so organically over with fans that it just carried on.
But it's the same one that she had when she was doing that steampunk stuff, so it's not changed. It's the same ones from when she debuted. So, like I said, that's why I think she needs one more than anything. Because, especially if she's been a heel a couple of times now, and the music almost doesn't fit. So I would like to see Becky get a new one, if I'm honest.
Here's going to be my ultimate answer for this. No, they shouldn't change entrance themes for them because they're bearable to listen to right now, and we know Def Rebel's going to get hold of them.
Well, look, as long as they don't do what they did to look, Penta had a killer entrance music 2 months later, and they've remixed it, and it's now terrible. I'm like, why? Why did they do it? Bron Breakker's had about 5 or 6 in a year. Just stop touching music. I don't know who anyone is anymore when the music starts playing.
That's true. There is times where the music comes, I'm like, ooh, I have to wait for the Tron. It's
Rumble's
never
ruined.
like that. Yeah, it's yeah. Someone fix the jukebox. Is there a way to make PLEs and pay-per-views feel more special again? I would say settings.
Yeah, presentation. Like, do you remember? I'm always going to go back to Backlash. You remember how cool Backlash used to look with the giant metal like construction spikes coming out the side? Give them personality. I think that's probably what they're lacking more than anything. Not just generic house show feeling with just new paint on it.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. I think that's what I want to see, if anything. And Byron in the house says WWE seriously need of Roman Reigns. Roman needs to reclaim his spot at the top and have a Chris Jericho save us storyline. Do you think that WWE is missing Roman Reigns right now?
No, I wouldn't have thought so. Don't get me wrong. The booking on the World Heavyweight title is a bit questionable at the minute, but look, man, you've got John Cena as your WWE champion. You've got Seth Rollins as your Money in the Bank winner. You've got CM Punk facing him for that title. You've got Dominic Mysterio, who's like a massive fan favorite and as your IC champion. Jacob Fatu is a massive fan favorite as a US champion. Like, there's people holding titles that honestly they're probably the best people for them at the minute. I don't think they're missing Roman, unfortunately. I'd like to see Roman come back, but I just don't think they need him at the minute.
I think it's not the right time just yet, but I feel that the time is coming soon. They just need to establish the Seth group a little bit more. And once that group's really set in stone, then it'd be interesting to see what Roman's direction will be. Now, finally, fully seen without a Paul Heyman for the first time in like 5 years. I'm interested in that. And I would say that when he does come, he does need to reclaim his spot. But in the meantime, it just needs a little bit more fine tweaking right now for Seth's group.
I do think we need a Cena Roman match though at some point before the end of the year, because that's when he's supposed to be leaving. Because look, arguably John Cena is the greatest of all time against the modern day greatest of all time, Roman Reigns. So I think those two need to have a match. You can't have someone who's a champion for over 1,400 days or whatever it was, and not have him face arguably, like I said, a 17-time world champion. These two need to have a match at some point.
It'll be interesting to see if and when that would be. Would that be just a final question on that? Would that be a suitable as a John Cena last opponent?
I'm gonna say no, just because I think whoever beats him should be like someone who's going to be here for the next 10 years. Like, as much as it could work, but with a Roman's going part-time, and I want someone who's going to be I want someone who's going to be on my TV every week that I'm going to know is the person that took that title off of John Cena.
Yeah, agreed.
It's going to be the greatest. It's going to be the greatest rub ever. Whoever takes that title off of him,
absolutely, and also be his final opponent, and hopefully WWE actually can give that to two different people.
Mania next year, I'm telling you.
Let's see. But in the meantime, let's move on to Worlds Collide. I've got Vikingo above me, and I could not resist give you Mr. Iguana. Tell us the wonders of Mr. Iguana. You were impressed.
Dude, this guy just was so entertaining. Like, even just from his entrance alone, he walks in, he has the iguana on the floor, he kicks the thing up, and it lands on his shoulder perfectly. I'm like, oh, hang on a minute. Have WWE just found their Orange Cassidy? And my God, I could, and I would say that as a massive compliment, because I love Orange Cassidy, and I think the growth that he's had in AEW is fantastic. Mr. Iguana for me is the WWE equivalent, and look, the fact that they're already plugging his merch, I'm very surprised he was like. I think if he'd have had if they'd have had this pay-per-view before, like a lot longer, like a period, like last week, for example, I think he'd have been the one facing Dom at Money in the Bank for the IC title. I think it would have been those two because of how over he got just from one appearance.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, the thing is, he was sat in the crowd, and his reaction was one of the biggest pops of the night. So, I mean, MVP for Money in the Bank, it might just have to be Mr. Iguana.
Yeah, I couldn't argue with you, man. It was just unbelievable. Like, the reaction of a stuffed puppet, but like he's like a mixture of, like I said, Orange Cassidy and Santino Marella, and it's a very unique combination. Look, it's entertaining, man. Look, it's a goofball. It makes you laugh, and like I said, you can make me laugh. You've already won me over.
Certainly. Well, we're going to do this a bit different to the Money in the Bank review. I figured that we can just do a summary of this show overall. So I'm going to ask your summary of Worlds Collide 2025, followed with your rating out of 10.
I think it's a great way to introduce fans to this new product. They do have Triple Mania coming up this weekend, so I think it was a great way to advertise. Although I'm very surprised they didn't advertise Triple Mania on the show, which was a bit of a weird one. But yeah, Triple Mania is coming up this week. So for fans that are interested in the product, want to see Mr. Iguana again, I'm sure he's going to be having a match at Triple Mania. I think it was great. It could have been, like I said, there could have been more titles on the line, I suppose, just to kind of introduce more faces. But look, they did the best they could with a 5-match card. They got loads of faces on there. Thought it was very well done, very well executed. 7 out of 10 again. I thought it was okay, just like very predictable though with some of the matches. That was the only thing.
Yeah, there was some predictability in there. I think the one surprise for me was Legado del Fantasma 1. I really didn't see that coming. So I was a bit like, oh, okay. Every
Dragon Lee
other one
lost.
I mean, I had the LWO to lose, but I mean, at the same time, yeah, it's not a great look for Dragon Lee. But just Lindsay Dorado filled in the spot for Joaquin Wilde.
Yeah, you got Joaquin Wilde was knocked unconscious in a speed taping. So yeah, Lindsay Dorado coming out of nowhere, and he's a bit of a divvy. I don't know if you noticed it, but when the pair of them hit topes right at the start, Lindsay's not ready to catch Octagon Jr. Octagon Jr. just topes over the top and just lands flat back on the floor because Dorado's not ready to catch him. It's a rough bump.
It is a rough bump, to be fair. It was a good time. But he did wrestle the Iguana, though, didn't he?
Yeah, well, okay, yeah, all right, yes and no, but look, you can wrestle an iguana, sure, but man, look, if someone's throwing their body at you and you can't catch them and they're falling like 15 feet to the floor on their back, dude, make an effort and try and catch the guy. But yeah, look, it was funny, it was entertaining. Like I said, just like I said, an entertaining gimmick character, and it's this character is very like the mid 80s, early 90s. Like, he's kind of like what Ultimate Warrior and Papa Shango are. And it's very rare that someone who has a gimmick like this can get over. And he's got over.
He has got over, so I think WWE need to catch the lightning in the bottle while it is there. But yeah, I will agree with you. I think the show overall was a decent show. I think that the matches were, I think a lot of them were like TV quality matches. I wouldn't turn around and say, oh, these are PLE quality matches, minus the main event. The main event was spectacular with the King of Chad Gable. I thought that was awesome. I think it is foreshadowing a future, like we've spoke for in the past. I do think that obviously Vikingo beating Chad Gable means that in the future we'll get El Grande Americano down there, and I do think he'll be the one to defeat Vikingo. But apparently, rumor mill suggests that a Triple Mania, not the one coming up this weekend, but the one in August, providing he's cleared, we'll get Vikingo versus Rey Mysterio.
Dude, I wouldn't be against it. I would be interested to see. My only worry is Ray is getting old, and I could be all wrong, and like he could absolutely blow my mind out, like blow it out of the water and have a 5-star match. It'd be interesting to see how he does. I think it'd be fitting though for him to have a match against Vikingo for that AAA Mega Championship.
Certainly would be indeed. Just give us a few thoughts of Vikingo Gable, because I remember you and me talking about this on WhatsApp. Just some real killer spots in this match.
Dude, solid work. The mixture of styles was always going to be a thing, but I think they nailed it like on the head. Chad Gable, just look, solid wrestler, man. Like this guy, I think I can't remember who I see said it. Someone must have been someone like Buddy Ray or someone was like, this guy just proved he can be a main eventer because he's put on that show. He's main evented this show and had an absolute killer match. And I've been asking for the last year for Chad Gable to get a push for a main event scene. So hopefully this is the start of it.
It would be great to see, because I mean, just exceptional match after exceptional match all the time there, and obviously
the powerbomb off the top rope, the reverse one, just insane.
So good, so good. I mean, so just the way that some of them were landing on some of the spots, it just felt like there was a few moments where it was like, God, that's almost been hit too perfectly. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, easily matched the night of those two of that show. And yeah, I thought the rest of it was fine to good, and I think it's like you say, it's a great showcase for what hopefully is to come with AAA, and I hope that they get more opportunities to showcase their talent to the WWE universe, and we get to see more of their talent going forward. This is a first of many to come with Worlds Collide, and hopefully we get to see some of their shows as well. Triple Mania would be good to be. Can you imagine Triple Mania on the Netflix, for example? I actually would make an effort to tune in for it.
I think it's inevitable. It's going to happen. I think it's like, because obviously when they did the Netflix deal, it was a case of like you've negotiated for Raw, SmackDown, NXT. AAA is a separate thing now. If you want to put Worlds Collide on, you want to put AAA on there, cough up the money.
Certainly, indeed. Jones would actually be keen to see Gable do more stuff in AAA, as he came off really well in his match at Worlds Collide. I have to agree with that indeed. Well, I'll tell you what then, this becomes a point of the show where we will move our screens off of reviews and just talk about the up-to-date news that's going on in the world of pro wrestling. However, we'll just say quickly, I did not watch Against All Odds. I've not had time to. I still haven't seen Double or Nothing. So that tells you everything outside of WWE, where I stand at that at the moment. Yeah. Did you?
I've got... no, I haven't, and it's like I'm sure we've got a retro review to do, and I've still got to watch that yet, and I know we need to do that. And I'm like, oh, that's like 2 hours I've got to find somewhere. I'm currently having my bathroom completely ripped out and put back in again, so I'm like, I've got too much going on at the minute, and I can't really get sort of a couple of hours peace to watch anything at the minute.
No, absolutely, and work and just WWE just taking over with so many shows on weekends.
I did see the Inspiration come back, and I was really happy about that. They are the best women's tag team ever. Like they are the original women's tag team, those two.
They are indeed. I'm pleased to see them and Killer Kelly return Against All Odds, just purely the base that adds a lot of strength and depth back to that TNA Knockouts division. And yes, definitely needed it. It's going to be great. I actually would not be surprised to see Katana Chance and Caden Carter there as well in that tag team division in a couple of months, and that really will boost that Knockouts tag team division really, really well.
Hopefully.
But we'll move on to our next topic in the meantime. Do you know, we mentioned those Money in the Bank. So let's just quickly, speculation station, when will they cash in? So Naomi, I have a very good idea when I think it will be and who I think it will be on. Should I go for it?
Go for it, mate, because I'm drawing a blank at the minute, so I might just piggyback off your answer.
Evolution 2, I think, is going to be the place because it's an all-women's pay-per-view.
Good shout.
Second time. It will be a standout moment on that show. I think she's going to cash in after Bianca Belair defeats Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's Championship. And obviously she'll say that at that point, I had your back. I always supported you. You left me. Therefore, I stabbed Jade in the back, stabbed you in the back.
I'm going to piggyback off you and steal that answer because that's a pretty sound. When is Evolution 2, though? That's the only thing.
It is July 13th, so 5 weeks from now. Or 4.5 weeks.
Yeah, it's a decent at least it's not a day. So yeah, I'll take it, man. I'm going to piggyback and say the same thing.
Tiffany had the briefcase for a long time last year, so I think this year it'll be Seth's turn then to hold it, as he's not already cashed it in, which I thought he would have done. But when do you think Seth will cash in Money in the Bank?
See, Seth's the kind of guy that could hold it till Mania next year as well. And I think if I wasn't fantasy booking Punk versus Seth next year, I would have said Mania. But I'm gonna go like. I'm going to go. Who is currently WWE champion? It's World Heavyweight champion, and it is currently Gunther.
Gunther now.
I'm going to say, I'm going to say like Rumble, maybe. I reckon he'll go to Rumble with it.
So I have a theory with it, but I do actually think we need to go on to our next topic first.
Go.
I think we need to go on to it. Because Jey Uso loses the World Heavyweight Championship, which I do think quite a few people tuned into at the beginning of this stream. Sorry, it took us 41 minutes to get there. So Jey Uso has lost the World Heavyweight Championship to Gunther. Gunther wins by submission on Raw. A lot of people were shocked by this.
The joke is he didn't even defend it at a premium live event. He's had three title defenses. One was on a Raw, two were on a Raw, and one was on a Saturday night's main event. He didn't even defend it on a premium live event. What a joke. Look, I'm waiting for you to give me the yin to my yang here because it doesn't look good, but I'm sure you've got somewhere convincing me that it'll all work out fine in the end.
So here we go. Here's the problem with Jey Uso. Let's switch this topic up a little bit. Here's the problem with Jey Uso. Jey Uso, everyone's saying his promos haven't worked. His matches aren't good. Everything isn't clicking. It's not connecting.
He's getting better.
The dude is yeeting and giving everything on his entrances to the point that when he gets in the ring, the dude is gassed. He's completely finished by the time the bell rings or he gets a mic in his hand. And then you poor buggers make him do it a second time with an encore. He's got no energy left back in him. This is one when he goes flying over the top rope. He can't even really get over the top rope to get to the floor. The yeeting is harming Jey Uso. He's yeeting too much, dare I say.
Who would have thought in 2025 we'd be saying the yeeting is too much?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But look, ultimately, Jey Uso, I think, has been slightly protected in a bad circumstance because, like you said, he's held the world title for, is it 7 weeks, 8 weeks? No more than that. It's not a long time to hold a world heavyweight championship, but I do feel that there could be a light at the end of the tunnel because I don't think Jey is fully finished with the world heavyweight championship just yet. You suggested something before we start the stream. I completely agree with it, but as you told me this, I want you to be the one to say it. Where do you see Gunther going at Night of Champions potentially to face someone else?
Goldberg's coming back, isn't he? This is pure Goldberg. This is like Hulk Hogan strings, man. Why does Goldberg need to have a World Heavyweight Championship match for his retirement? Why? Why can't he just turn up and be sick of Goldberg being the bully that he is and just want to fight him? And yeah, I think ultimately they've put it on Gunther so Gunther can retire Goldberg. And by the sounds of it, you're going to tell me that Jay's going to win it back off Gunther afterwards.
He is indeed. But the thing is, I made a mistake there. I said Night of Champions. The Saturday night's main event on the 12th of July is in Atlanta, and that's where Goldberg is from. So Atlanta, Georgia, he can actually have a hometown finish for his career. So I think it'll be Saturday night's main event. There'll be Goldberg versus Gunther. But I do think after that...
I think it's a Saudi show.
You think it's a Saudi show? It's
At
one
least
or
the
the
Sam
other.
show.
It's A or
No,
B.
we're gonna get that payday.
I think the
Gonna get
payday
that
comes
payday,
either
brother.
way. He'll get the payday either way. But I think one thing's
True.
for sure. I'm going to say Jey Uso wins the title after that. And he could go on a run after that. But I do think that's when Seth's going to cash in.
Okay. So you're telling me he's going to get a 5-minute reign as a 2-time world heavyweight champion and get cashed in on? Oh, dear God. The fans will just poo all over it, though, man. That's the problem. They'll just be like, "Oh yeah, Jay's champion again. We've got the opportunity for him to have a better run." And no, here comes Seth. Bye, Jay. And then by the end of the year, Jay's tagging with Jimmy again, and they're fighting New Day for tag team titles.
Potentially, but this is where I kind of want to say I'm wrong because, like, I think sometimes when you get knocked down, it's how you get back up again. It's trying to establish him as that top guy. If he can then beat Seth and win the title back, then it becomes a thing of like, well, okay, now we can really take him seriously. However, what I will say is that if he beats Gunther, if by some chance Sami Zayn wins King of the Ring, because Sami's qualified, you could get Jey Uso versus Sami Zayn at SummerSlam for the World Heavyweight Championship, and that could be a place where Sami could execute that heel turn.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, look, there's so many possibilities just with it. Like, you throw Seth in that mix as well. Like, even if you was to say, for instance, Seth was to cash in on Jay, then Sami has a feud with Seth. He can't get the job done, but then Jay can get the job done and take it back off Seth. That ultimately could lead to Sami's heel turn. Yeah, I hope that they do it, man. And like, again, fantasy booking for next year, because I did originally want Sami versus KO. Probably not going to happen, so I had Sami versus Drew instead. Sami versus Jay at Mania next year for the WWE or for the WWE Championship or World Heavyweight Championship, whatever one, the World Heavyweight Championship. There we go. I got there in the end.
That's what I want to see. That's what I predicted for WrestleMania when it was going to be New Orleans.
My only issue is I'd want Sami to win the Rumble because it's obviously in Saudi, and I think he gets a bigger pop as a face. And then somewhere between Rumble and Mania, you turn him heel against Jay, even if it's like the night after or something. Do you know what I mean? Just get that initial crowd pop for them going mad for Sami winning Rumble, and then like have him come out to the ring. Jay comes out to congratulate him, and he's like, "Look, if you want to challenge me, I'll accept it." Let Jay go to walk off, and Sami just clatter him from behind, and then just set up the match. Just be like, "I don't need your sympathy. I don't need your pity of an invite to challenge you. I'm going to take that World Heavyweight title off of you at WrestleMania, blah, blah, blah." It'll be great.
It would be awesome. It will be awesome. We talked a lot about Jey Uso. I mean, I suppose the story is Jey Uso loses World Heavyweight Championship, but Gunther's won it. He's a 2-time World Heavyweight Champion, and like we said, we think Goldberg is that initial destination. But does Gunther have a lengthy run this time around, or do you kind of agree with me that he's probably going to drop this title back to Jey Uso at some point during the summer?
I would like to, just because Jay needs a. I know everyone's pooed on Jay being champion, but look, let's be honest. This is very Liv Morgan's first run as SmackDown champion. Like, just not booked with the right opponents. Look, I said the guy didn't even defend it on a premium live event. He's got to get that back at least. Mind you, how long have we been waiting for Drew to win a championship in front of fans? And when he does do it, he's cashed in on 5 minutes later. So it could be 2 years before Jay wins that thing back again.
I have to wait and see what they will do. But let us know your thoughts in the comments. We're interested your thoughts on main event Jey Uso. But Millennial Noob says Jey Uso is yeeting like crazy. That's a visual.
His yeet promo when he just like he's angry when he does it, I think is great. I just can't stand it when he does it the rest of the time.
I think that we can make a joke of it here constantly, but I do feel the yeet is starting to wear off a little bit.
Yeah, I was never really behind it. I just like it's okay, but like look, the fact that even to try and even give it a bit more like oomph is like they made Cody on the promo turn around and say, "Oh yeah, we might have been drunk." It's like, well, obviously, but it's almost like they're trying to still breathe life into it, like it's dying, but someone is just like defibbing it every time. Like, did you no keep going? And like Jay's just sitting there doing that all the time. It's just impossible, man.
thing is, I find myself eating with around people that don't understand what's going on. So it's like, yeah, just got to stop saying the word yeet all the time.
It's the tell you what I like is the TikToks of people like at their graduation, and they just turn
Yeah.
to the person who's filming them and goes, "Oh," and this. I think it's great. Just the fact that it's kind of surpassed pro wrestling and is now like an internet meme, I think is great in itself.
Absolutely, and that's one of the joys of pro wrestling. And when you know something and someone is getting over, certainly the catchphrase has got over, but it's the person that's connected with it as well. So you've got to give Jey some credit. Goldberg will get a big pop from Sid when he does return. He's a big fan of Goldberg. Well, lovely that is, and Sid, I think you'll get your wish very soon. Apparently Vince Russo wasn't happy that Seth and Naomi won Money in the Bank. Russo wasn't happy about a lot, and apparently he said that R-Truth shouldn't have been re-signed. It's Paul that said that up here, said that he's too old, would never be used as a main eventer, should stop using old wrestlers. Well, judging off WWE 2000, that sounds very Vince Russo.
I was going to say, what's Vince Russo got to say about that and cheeky git? Oh, dear God. I tell you what, though, just because you mentioned WCW, WWE have just uploaded a match that I'd never even heard of. Vampiro versus Sting in a Human Torch match. What is going on in 2000's American Bash? I had to watch it. It's only like 30 minutes long, but it's horrific because you can tell when they swapped Sting out for the stuntman to take the bump. I'd never even heard of it. And I was like, I need to watch this now. I need to waste 10 minutes of my life watching this absolute garbage.
It's so bad, but it's so worth it. If you've got a few
absolutely.
minutes, stay with us now. But at the end, go and do that. It's definitely worth your time. Noob also thinks Naomi may cash in Evolution 2. We'll talk more about Evolution 2 in a couple of moments' time. And Byron says, the reason I say that this John Cena booking is questionable and Seth Rollins didn't need that briefcase, and I thought Jey Uso would have been champion to at least SummerSlam. There you are. We got here Roy asking us our thoughts of Ron Killings cutting off his hair on Raw. Yeah, I mean,
more explanation.
Yeah, I just think that he's basically killing off R-Truth, and Ron Killings is a new beginning, and it's a new look.
Yeah, he needs to shave his head. Though, go clean bald.
There you are. I think he will be next time. He just looked like a dodgy.
It's the aesthetic, isn't it?
Yeah.
He had alopecia or something. It was kind of weird, yeah.
Apparently, as well, Abaddon, officially a free agent. Wish her the best of luck in her future, where she lands next. Since it's very good first round of the Women's Queen of the Ring, agree with that. Perez advances to the semis. Right decision out of the four women that wrestled last night on Raw. And Byron goes on to say that Sammy should win King of the Ring, which leads me to the next topic. Who should win King and Queen of the Ring 2025? Obviously, Roxanne Perez and Sami Zayn are the two that have qualified so far. Love what they did with Roxanne Perez and Liv Morgan in that women's match, to be honest. The fatal four-way, the chemistry of how they shouldn't get along, but then they did kind of work really well together. Felt like it was a natural duo as well, but then Roxanne Perez stole the pinfall. Love it. And as well as that, also, Sami Zayn, the King of the Ring is going to be in Saudi Arabia, Night of Champions. Feels right this guy's going to be in the final.
Yeah, and again, I don't want to will it into existence, but like with Cross's whole thing with Sammy at the minute, I've got a bad feeling that Sammy's going to be one to write Cross off TV, and he's going to get released, and I really don't want it. So I'm just hoping that it goes another way. But yeah, like you said, because it's going to be Night Champions is in Saudi, yeah. So yeah, it just makes sense that guy's going to be in the final.
Absolutely. I believe I saw on the SmackDown side. I don't remember everybody that's in the 16 names.
I've got the brackets here. I've got the brackets here if you want them to quickly. So the next one is Aleister Black, Carmelo Hayes, LA Knight, Randy Orton. Pick one of them.
Well, I mean, Randy Orton technically should be the name that goes through at that lot, but
they're going up against Sammy. They're going up against Sammy, so that might be your winner with that one.
I think my head says LA Knight because I think LA Knight needs it. I think he would be good to have a run in this King of the Ring tournament. I think he's popular with the Saudi crowd as well. Carmelo Hayes is who I want to see in there next, just because of the fact I think it'd be great for a shot factor. But I'm going to say LA Knight.
It's a great show. I'm going to say Carmelo just for the whole heel face dynamic.
Yeah.
Next four: Andrade, Cody, Priest, Nakamura. I can tell you who ain't winning that one.
Well, it's Cody that's winning it as well. Nakamura's not winning it. Probably the one being pinned.
Yeah, and then it's whoever out of Bronson Reed, Rusev, Sheamus. That's 4 big beefy guys, and to be announced. A lot of people expect it's going to be Dragunov because he's due back.
Yeah, Dragunov does make a lot of sense, to be fair. Speaking of Jonesy earlier, he actually suggested Dragunov as well. I would like Ricky Saints to get the call up and be put in this position, like an NXT call up. I think would be a really cool way to introduce him to Raw.
Saints in the semi-finals. Are you insane?
I would love it. I think it would be
Oh,
beautiful.
I don't know. I'm going to go with Rusev. I think Rusev's on a run here. I think Rusev needs to win here, and I think he needs to face Cody.
I agree with you. I'm going to say I don't disagree with that, but I think Bronson Reed is getting through that round to take on Cody in the semis, and I think we get a Cody versus Zayn final, and I will go as far to say I think Cody wins it all.
Cody versus Zayn final. That's insane. I love it though. Great shout. Women's, so obviously Perez is through. The win, she will face Cargill, Michin, Nia Jax, or Piper Niven.
Cargill,
and I think Naomi's going to cost her. Bliss, LeRae, Flair, or Green?
You would think Flair.
You would think Flair, but I'm saying Green just because I want Chelsea Green to be queen of the ring.
Fair play.
Asuka, Ivy Nile, Raquel Rodriguez, Stephanie Vaquer.
See, it should be Stephanie Vaquer, but Oscar is returning. I think if Vaquer is not involved in the decision, Oscar can get through, and we've got Flair versus Oscar again.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm going to go just because I want the impossible situation of trying to pick between Chelsea Green and Stephanie Vaquer. I'm going to say Stephanie Vaquer goes through.
I love it.
And then essentially Perez, Jade Cargill semi. So Perez is getting to the final. So within your terms, it's either against Charlotte Flair or Asuka. It's probably going to be a Charlotte Flair. It kind of makes sense that Charlotte Flair gets to the final because she is the queen, isn't she? So she needs to be in the final.
I think it'll be a Cargill Flair final. The teasing the feud.
Wow. Fair enough. I like it.
And I'll go one further for you because she can challenge for a women's championship if she wins then at SummerSlam. If Naomi cashes in on Bianca Belair at Evolution, we could get Naomi versus Belair versus Cargill triple threat at SummerSlam.
Boom! There you go. You've already done it. I'll give you that. Props. Well done.
Didn't even know the
Can't
names.
argue with that. Can't argue with that logical booking because it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Well, that's the early picks then for King Queen of the Ring. We can laugh if it goes wrong this Friday on SmackDown onwards. But let's know your early picks as well. Noob saying, like, this is her first match coming back since hopefully WWE will make Oscar's return somewhat special because Io Sky's run as Women's World Champion is running out. I'm not too bored of the run that she's got right now, to be honest. I'm fine with it.
No, I actually kind of like it. I think they're... I think I don't want the I don't want Damage Control back together. Just separate them now. Have them do their own thing.
I personally agree with that as well.
Karen Queen, that's great.
Yeah, I think that would be brilliant, wouldn't it? But I think separate as well. But I can see Kairi and Oscar perhaps reuniting the team at some stage. Just have the Kabuki Warriors go and Io do her separate thing. We have a couple of questions right here to the topics we want to talk about. So I suppose we'll do those next. What are you happy to see Nikki Bella return? Set up a match with Liv Morgan at Evolution 2? Hold that for...
I was going to say,
go on.
Go on. I was just going to say that. Well, I was just going to say I don't want Nikki Bella in it. We've got such a stacked women's division now. Why do we need to be pulling in these legends anymore? We have genuinely one of the best rosters in the women's division, like across every brand, and it's like I get it's like a nostalgia act, but put those tag team titles on the line.
They will.
Oh no, you're going to say it. Nikki and Brie versus. If I have to listen to Brie mode, I'm going to lose my absolute mind. I'm telling you that now. It's going to be like a mystery of partner in it, and Nikki's going to come out, and it's going to be like Brie mode. That's it. I'm going to turn it off. I'm not going to watch it. I can't do it.
It's always Nikki's music when it's the two of them.
Yeah, that's fine. As long as I don't have to hear Brie mode, I'll be okay.
The Bella Twins have never been women's tag team champions. I think it's going to happen.
Don't do it, man. Next, you'll be telling me Daniel Bryan's coming back and try and make this even sound even better. They're going to be champions for like a week and then lose them to someone like some random team like Alba Fire and Piper Niven.
That'd be great, though. The Secret Service to have the women's tag team titles. Sign me up. I'd be down for that. It'd probably be the Kabuki Warriors now, or Liv Morgan and Raquel would win. How about Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez on the same page winning the women's tag team titles?
Oh, yeah. Cause that rift
Over
between Raquel and
you
Liv.
lost the match.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be fantastic. That would. I hate that you've done this to me, man, that you've made this logical and the fact that this could actually be conspired and what will actually happen. I hate it. 2025, and I've got Nikki and Brie as tag team champions. Oh, dear.
WWE Universe has gone mad, hasn't it, today?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But, yeah, I quite enjoyed Nikki's return. I'll just say that quickly. I liked the fact that Liv Morgan came out and showed she is one of the true established women in the division. She was passionate. Yeah. She meant what she said. It's almost like that she knows she's not in the women's championship picture at the minute, and she's got an opportunity to work with a high-profile name in Nikki Bella, and she went, I'm going to make this a moment for me, and she made it really work. I think it was one of the highlights of Raw.
Yeah, definitely. And, yeah, even like this, just the almost tears in her eyes, the passion that she was trying to bring to the stage as she was coming out with that microphone, it was great. It was proper like, well, at least Liv sold me on the idea of these two having a match.
Certainly, indeed. And Bayley returned as well because Becky was kind of gloating. Lyra was going to come out to get some more revenge. And instead, Bayley came out and made an attack. So we did speak about earlier on the idea of another Lyra versus Becky match. But I think we could be getting the triple threat match when it comes to Evolution 2 because it gets everyone on the card. It's an all-women's show. Everyone's going to perform on that card.
I'm looking forward to your predicting the match card early video.
Hopefully later this week. You're getting some ideas already. I've dropped 2 matches for you. So, yeah.
That's why I can't wait to see the rest of it.
Probably 3 of them, actually. Yeah. Yeah. I'll do like the Men in Black. Just forget everything now. That video will drop later in the week. God, I'm showing my age, aren't I? But Ray has asked another question for us. And Joe, it's another topic we were going to talk about. So thank you, Ray, for doing it. What is our thoughts of Mariah May's new name, which, of course, is Blake Monroe?
I love it. I think it's like the whole Marilyn Monroe thing, and then obviously because she used Blake because it's her niece's name. I think it's just it helps with the character and it's personal. I think it's a great name. Obviously, there is the unfortunate thing that it is the same as an adult film star, but look, it's not the first time someone's had the same name as an adult film star. It won't be the last. It'll be short-lived, and yeah, I think it's great. It's one of the best names they've actually had in a long time. Like, what was that horrible one that they registered a little while ago? There was one of the NXT stars or whatever it was. It was Vincent McLounce. It was horrible, man. So yeah, it's one of the better ones they've done.
It is one of the better ones they've done. Look, I was always feeling to myself, if accepting Mariah's name Mariah's going to change the name. I think Mariah Monroe could have been fun, but I mean, I think Monroe in particular for me just stood out. I was like, yeah, it just fits.
Class, yeah.
Yeah, class is the right word for it. It just fits the character, the presentation, everything about her. And Blake Monroe just has got a nice ring to it. Like, now you've actually given me some more detail that I wasn't aware of, the fact of it being a niece's name as well. Yeah, look, it just ticks all the boxes, and she's going to be a big star in WWE. I still think it's right that she's in NXT first, but she's main roster ready. It's just getting her established, get the new name established, have a run with the NXT Women's Championship, stand in the season, get out of the way, and then boom.
There was a lot of controversy about her promo video this week because it was apparently like a like-for-like rip-off of a Sabrina Carpenter video. Sure, but like the Sabrina Carpenter is one of the biggest pop stars in the world here. If you're going to imitate something, you might as well imitate one of the biggest superstars in the world at the minute.
You might as well indeed. And I haven't seen it yet, so unfortunately I can't judge on that. But we'll try and make some effort to watch some NXT later this week. But Sid, I think, is trolling us. Said that Brie Mode is one of the greatest themes of
Can we ban him? Ban him, please. Ban him for these horrible suggestions. Brie Mode, I'll tell you this now. Brie Mode is definitely the worst entrance music ever. Like, I can think of some bad music songs, like even Right to Censors was horrible, but it was apropos, it was fitting, it fitted the character. Brie Mode is generally, like, if you speak to a lot of people, they will say Brie Mode is the worst entrance music ever.
I've got a top 10 video suggestion. We could be bringing back the bite boards out.
Yes, I love it. And it's about entrance music. This is definitely one for me.
Absolutely. Sid said the film star we're talking about, I'll bring the name up. Mandy Monroe?
Don't know.
Yeah, no.
Happily
Too
married
married men you're
for
talking to. Yeah,
what year are we in? 2025. Happily married for 8 years now.
yeah. So, yeah. No. Vince Russo thinks his opinions are always right, bro. He probably does. I mean, to
Bro.
be fair, we think our opinions are always right, so I don't blame him for that, to be honest. But we are at a point where I think we are probably ready for the main event of the stream now, because we've got so far in. And hey, let's
Ding,
talk
ding.
about John Cena versus CM Punk, confirmed for Night of Champions 2025, and why I actually think it might actually be clever booking. Look, I'm not going to lie. I'm a fan. I wanted Money in the Bank like 2011, and I wanted them to do something with that. However, John Cena has come out and said he wanted competition. None of these clowns. He's mentioning truth. This was an excuse for CM Punk to come out, and CM Punk to actually first time reference about Elimination Chamber of him screaming he's sorry, saying that the championship has taken over him. CM Punk didn't want the title because it saw what it did to him in 2012. He didn't want that on him when he came back, but he's seen what it's done to Cena, so he wants to be the guy to take it off of him. And also, he said, look, John Cena's the one that's always been for the establishment. Punk has always been the one for the people, and he wants to take the title off of John Cena for the people. And he said, John, you got 19 dates left. You pick which one, and I'll take you on for that title. And John Cena said, well, there's a show in Saudi called Night of Champions taking place. Everyone kind of knowing deep down with what we've seen of history of CM Punk, maybe making tweets or references
His
with
morals.
the morals, yeah, playing with the morals with the sort of
So
devilish
good.
twink in his eye. And Punk said, you're on. So the match is set. But there's for a simple reason why this is actually very clever. Because John Cena wants to ruin wrestling. So the one match that should be in front of an American crowd is not going to happen in front of an American crowd. And it is going against perhaps some of CM Punk's potential feelings against doing this. But apparently, according to the rumor stuff, it's been in the works that Punk was going to be a part of this for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, the break kayfabe almost like, is this a big FU from someone in the office where they turn around and go, don't want to work Saudi Arabia, Punk? Yeah, you are. And it almost feels like, do you know what I mean? Someone had a problem with Punk and what he said when at his time in AEW and how he used to critique the Saudi shows. And it's almost like he's got here now, and it's like, do you know what? You're going to Saudi, mate, because it's something you don't want to do. But then that promo on Raw was just fantastic, because the fact that Punk brings up all these references to Pipe Bomb and just so many other promos that he's cut over the years was just fantastic. And the way that Cena has to then challenge Punk's morals, like you said, of going to Saudi Arabia. If he wants to fight, if you want this title, you're going to have to come to Saudi Arabia to challenge me for it. It was just very cleverly constructed. It was probably one of the best constructed promos we've had all year. I loved it. I thought it was great. And like you said, the story and the story that Cena wants to ruin wrestling, and an American crowd would want to see John Cena versus CM Punk. And now you can see John Cena versus CM Punk at 1 o'clock in the morning local time, because that's what time it's going to be on. Because luckily for you and me, that's going to be on at like 5, 6 o'clock for us. But no, stateside, you got to tune in at 1 o'clock for it.
Absolutely, yeah. It ticks boxes. It ticks boxes. The match is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to seeing these two wrestle one more time, and yeah, it's fitting. I mean, Punk has come out and also said that like he's never been Saudi, so he doesn't hate somewhere that he's not been to as well. So he has backtracked to different comments as well. So it'd be interesting to see how that's going to be with him going over there, and his perception, his experience, and what he'll say and how he'll feel afterwards from it. And I think he'll be treated quite well from the fan base, because we've heard CM Punk chants in Saudi crowds before when he's not been there. So I think he will get quite a popular reception.
My only problem is the genuine crowd reactions, because I think that's ultimately what's like. I'm just again, like I said, yin yang here. Although this should be really good, I don't think it's going to get the right reaction from crowds. And I think that's ultimately going to be the biggest problem with it. Because while you and me can sit there and love it for story, whatever, do you know what I mean? If we ultimately end up reviewing this show and you're going to look and give this match a 4-star, 5-star, whatever, you're going to knock it for crowd reaction, because if the crowd don't care, or the crowd aren't reacting how they should be reacting to a John Cena versus CM Punk match, this is ultimately where it's going to suffer.
True. We'll have to wait and see how it will go down, but certainly it's a big match announced for Night of Champions, and certainly is. I tell you what, Night of Champions is not really a show I usually get hyped for when I hear Night of Champions is coming. I'm like, yay! But this match is, I'm in. I'm looking forward to it.
Are you telling me Goldberg versus Gunther isn't the match you want to see? I am offended.
I can tell you the match I want to see is John Cena versus CM Punk and Sami Zayn versus Cody Rhodes in the King of the Ring finals.
Oh, imagine, because Cody is obviously going to be going for a
John Cena.
He wasn't King of the Ring, was he? No. What was the bloody the Saudi Championship or whatever it was that they won last year? Him and Liv.
Crown Jewel Championship. Okay, I was getting those mixed up for some reason, thinking that the Cody was going to go back to back, but that's a different show. It's going
Australia this year, anyway. Yeah, are they still going to do that?
Yeah, it'll be in Australia this year. It's going international.
No, but I mean the whole championship thing, and
probably.
Ironically, if you go back to last year's review of it, we probably turned around and said, "Yep, you're never going to see them titles again." It very well may be true.
It could be. I mean, currently, I originally thought we were going to get Rhea versus Tiffany in Australia, but I don't think Tiffany's going to still be champion now. So, but Rhea probably will be by then.
No, but yeah, I just know, because if I remember correctly, the championships and the rings that they won, I think they were staying in Saudi because they have that WWE World thing there, so they were never leaving. So, do you know what I mean? Year 2 for Crown Jewel, we've got no Saudi championships because, do you know what I mean? Their Super Bowl rings. Do you know what I mean? We said it last year that they weren't going to come back, and I can just see it happening again.
Absolutely. Last thing I'm going to say to you quickly, probably does mean we should do a rewind of Punk versus Cena Night of Champions 2012 before this year, as it was the main event match of that show. It will be of this one. It's kind of good for algorithm purposes. If the viewers are left watching this at the end want to comment and say, yes, you want that, let us know, and then it can go under consideration.
We'll probably end up doing it anyway. You know what we're like.
We probably will, to be fair. Any final thoughts you want to say before we start wrapping things up?
Nah, man. You go for it.
Well, let's take just a couple of Jonesy comments just to wrap up the last 2 or 3 minutes of the stream. He said, looking at the scheduling for the year, we have 3 weeks for Money in the Bank tonight Champions, and 2 weeks to Saturday night's main event, NXT Great American Bash and Evolution. And then we've got 3 weeks and 2 days until until then, 2 nights of SummerSlam. I think Jonesy's should definitely go and check out our quantity over quality video, because we touched on this a lot in that, but it's a lot of WWE, isn't it?
I don't even know why you're hyping Saturday Night Main Event. It's just honestly not worth watching. It's a house show. I watched the first one and was highly disappointed. And I think you said with the most recent one, it was more adverts than wrestling. But don't bother with it. I've just saved you 2 hours there, or 3 hours, or however long that show's going to be.
Probably, yeah, but there's still a lot of wrestling, and if you do want to keep up with it, I mean, it's a full-time schedule currently at this particular moment.
If there is something worth watching on that show, then I'll watch it.
Won't be Goldberg for you. But do you think Jade Cargill should have stopped Naomi winning Money in the Bank?
I'm going to say no, just because you did the same thing with Jacob Fatu and Solo, and they don't really like to repeat the same spots in the same matches.
Agreed. I know where Jones is coming from. Logically, the feud is kind of there, but Jade's sort of her focus now. Naomi has won the case. She wants to win Queen of the Rings, so she wants to ensure that she gets the title match. And yeah, I think that, like you say, I just think that Jade in her head has beat Naomi, so she's probably ready to move on and win some of her main goals. And last one we'll take then. He said, Joe said he just can't see the world title as a main title. Basically, it's a mid-card title. Don't know the perception of Beyond putting it on guys who can close out a PLE with that title on the line. He says that people can hold it in main events. So I'm guessing he's basically saying Priest, Gunther, Jey Uso, not main eventers. I guess they haven't main evented PLEs a lot of the time with the World Heavyweight Championship, but my counter argument with that would be, well, John Cena's currently in WWE, so most things he does will be a main event because it's his last time at these shows with these big opponents.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, man. Aside from Drew for purpose of storylines and Jey, but the other three have all held it for 100+ days, so they've all had solid runs. Like I said, Jay's just in that awkward position where, unfortunately, Goldberg exists as a human being and wants to poo-poo it all, and like same reason why Bray Wyatt had to drop the title to Goldberg. Do you know what I mean? It's Goldberg pulling weight again. I'll be glad when the guy's gone and he doesn't come back anymore. But I think they've all had solid runs. I think Gunther as champion, don't get me wrong, his booking towards the end was kind of getting a bit questionable, especially when it was like, I had Gunther's lost his smile. It was a bit stupid, but he recovered afterwards. And I think Seth is like one of the best, like nearly held it for a year, in fact. I feel like you can't really get better than that. I think it's just a case of because it's new, it doesn't really have. Like, I think, you go back to iconic WWE championships and they just have like something that's specifically remembered about them for something. And I think we're just waiting for that moment with the World Heavyweight title where, do you know what I mean? You have a plethora of people that are champion that define that title. Like, for instance, if you go back to the old World Heavyweight title, Batista, I believe Rey Mysterio was another guy, Edge. Just you had a foundation of guys that held that title, and you know what I mean? You can reference it. I think that all this title was just missing. It's just a bit of heritage, but you have to give it time, unfortunately.
You certainly do. I think, to be honest, I think Rollins did a fantastic job establishing it when it first came out. I think Rollins is a top guy as well, so I think he really helped the World Heavyweight Championship at that time. I think Gunther's had a great run with the title. I think Gunther, like, yes, a couple of questionable moments in character, but he's a dominant world champion, and as far as I'm concerned, he's not a mid-carder. He's a main event guy, and he has main evented shows, and I think he will main event more shows in the future. Priest is someone that they gave a go with the World Heavyweight Championship, but I mean, SmackDown 2010s, that's what they did. They tested someone with that championship. Jey Uso's not going to win the WWE Championship. Yeah, exactly. They did, which, let's be fair,
Priest is the Jack Swagger of 2025.
I mean, that's just a horrible comparison, isn't it? I mean, Priest is head and shoulders above Swagger, in my personal opinion. But yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean? The World Heavyweight title was always I hate to say it, but the old one was always a stepping stone to the WWE Championship, and you kind of had to carry that one first before you got the WWE title. And like, look, Seth was already a WWE champion before he won it. Gunther will hold that WWE Championship at some time. Priest and Jey, look, there may be some stuff to work on to get them to that point, but look, 2 out of 4 ain't bad. Drew as well. Drew's already been WWE champion, even though he did hold it for a day, like the World Heavyweight title, but he was previously WWE champion. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think that, and you need to have some new stars win the top gold, and this is the title that they're going to do that with right now. So you have to. It's all seeing how it's going to work and operate. And I mentioned earlier on how I felt that Jey was slightly protected in the defeat, which I think that may be seen as some will agree, some will disagree. Like, he had overdone things. He did the tag team match at Money in the Bank that he didn't need to do, helping Cody. He was wrestling at Saturday Night's Main Event. He'd done all these different booking and dates and helping friends out in battles, including Punk and Zayn with the stuff with Rollins Group. But one thing is that if you remember back to 2006, Rob Van Dam, one of my favorites, you'll know this is why I've got this in the brain, won the WWE Championship One Night Stand 2006. He then went to go and win the ECW Championship. He would defend those titles week in and week out, to where commentary would say, this guy is defending all the time. He's wrestling all the time. He's going to burn out. It's going to get too much. There's going to be a time where it's going to just all go wrong. Now, of course, politics backstage, stuff he did outside was the reason he lost both titles in a quick pace. But he did that. That's how he crashed and burned, because his booking was the fact that he went and wrestled so much that he then lost both titles in the space of a week. That was the storyline narrative. We know the real reason. But that was what they did. And that's what they did with Jey here. They RVD'd him. They pretty much said he's burnt himself out, and he was having problems with his ribs in the match. So it's just that thing of that top babyface being protected. And if he gets another crack, which I think he will, I think he'll win it again. Like you said, I think this is a stopgap. I think Gunther right now is actually the transitional champion, not Jey Uso in this instance.
Yeah. The only thing is like, to be fair, at least there is some sort of consistency with how Gunther has beaten Jey. Like, I'm pretty sure Gunther has beaten him via making him choke out before.
Yes.
The only problem I'm looking at is that if you look at his IC title run, he was champion for a month, lost to Bron Breakker. Bron Breakker then has it for 181 days. Oh no, sorry. He had it for a month and then he loses it back. Short reign as IC champion. And that's his first singles title. And then they've propelled him to the main event scene, and he's held it for a little bit longer than what he did the IC title. So ultimately, I think that, like I said, that's where they've got to kind of work on, is recovering him for it. But Jey losing to Gunther, like I said, probably has more consistency and probably is the most correct booking you can do for this situation. That if you're going to have Jey lose that title to someone, it's someone who has previously tapped the guy out.
Yeah,
or
someone and also been perhaps a top guy as well, a top champion in WWE, because it's not someone that's taken it from him that's lower down the card, because then arguably then you can start arguing saying, it feels like more like a mid-card title. It's just mid-carders fighting over this, where actually Gunther is the top guy right now. Anyway, we're going to wrap things up there for you, ladies and gentlemen. That's all the talking points wrapped up into an hour and 20 minutes. I think we've done quite well there, wrapping all that into that. But if you've enjoyed the video, hit the like button, share with a friend, subscribe as well. NXSteve, thanks for being on board. Any final words?
No, man, it's always been a pleasure. And shame we couldn't do a full review, but look, man, that in 5 years' time, there's always the opportunity to go back and watch these on an anniversary date and do a proper full review of it.
Certainly indeed. Unfortunately, life sometimes gets in the way. But hey, we've got content for you anyway. You've got that to enjoy over the next couple of days. There will be some shorts and there will be some videos coming out later this week, including match card predicted for King Queen of the Ring, or should I say Night of Champions. And of course, Evolution 2 as well. So keep an eye out for those ones. Take care, look after yourselves and each other. And yes, myself and NXSteve will be back for a retro review, 20-year anniversary of ECW One Night Stand 2005. We just need to find the time to watch it first. See you next time.